All right. Good morning. Good morning. First thing we want to do, as usual, go to the calendar in the Market Watch. Look at everything on the Econo Day event. You can see get a little bit more than yesterday, but it's still pretty light. Not too much on the agenda. And a lot of these are for later tonight. 8:30, 8:55, and 11 o'clock. For the most part, it's going to really lean into these economics today. Tomorrow is the big one, right? We've got the Fed tomorrow. But even today, we got to be looking for these to provide some kind of context. Typically in a Fed week, we're expecting to stay sideways until we get the report. So it's very likely that we're going to hold the range no matter what kind of news it is, unless it's just really, really bad news. Then we could see a drop. But be ready for the additional auction at lunch today. Typically at 11 o'clock, we expect the market to pause. So this 11 o'clock auction can rewrite that completely with an expectation that there would be no lunch window because of that. We got a pretty clear range, and we broke out of the bottom of it. Could argue that we have a little bit of a Busby right now. When they kicked the can down the road last month, they gave a deadline of December 15. That's tomorrow. And they're supposed to have timeout starting tomorrow night. So they're kind of on the hook. We should be seeing news today about this spending bill. So be kind of looking for this today. I don't know what time because nobody knows what time if they're actually going to get something done or not. Just going to have to monitor the news. So we're almost flat on the morning. The expectation here is if the economics are not received well, then we will challenge that 10-period daily moving average. And if you come out here, this is the 10. So we'll challenge that 10-period moving average. I don't think that it's out of line. Yeah, it's a 0.5%. First touch would be the expectation of a slight rejection. So maybe a bounce play trade there. There's very low volume support here. We will fall through that area very quickly. And we'll be looking to catch some support around a 46.10. There's a cog line 46.11, so we could just say it's that. So 46.11 for the cog, and if we make it through the COG, then 4600. We're not out of line using a target of 4600 because you're looking at about a 1.25%. That the S&P can move 1.25%, no problem. We are already 12 hours into the day, but it can still make the move. The main thing would be the COG, center of gravity. That'd be 46.11. For an upside move, we would basically need to break back inside of the low of yesterday. That would give us inside day and an expectation that we would stay inside of that range. Unless the news happens to be just crazy positive, it would need to offset the variant worries causing this move in the market this morning. So we get back in the box, deal with 46.80, and then the open of yesterday. Got a cog line at 47.11. I don't think we're going to get there today, but yeah. And again, it's about the same direction the other way. That's a 1.25%, and we're down a dime. So you're looking at a 1.1% move to make it to the next cog line, and that's not an unrealistic reach either. So really good news, 47.11. Really bad news, 46.11. Otherwise, we're expected to get back in the box and pretty much just stay in the box, maintain the range. We may struggle with that 50 a little bit. It's worth maybe looking at where the 5-period moving average is, and that'd be the one that I'd focus on, kind of asking that question, where's the 5? We're going to get tangled up in those. There's the 5. So you can see we broke the 5 yesterday. We bounced on the bottom of it last night. We will be, if we get back in the box, we will need to resolve that 5-period daily moving average. For the NASDAQ, I think this one got whacked down a little bit more. We're still down 0.5%. It is trying to recover with that failed flag play. Getting a little bit of a Busby on the channel break. The expectation is to see if we can get back inside of yesterday's price action. So maybe some positive news in the econ data this morning could get us back inside the box. The box, of course, is yesterday's price. As I said yesterday with the Fed meeting, we're very likely to just hold the range most of the week. And the idea that we broke out of the range in the overnight hours, things move bigger, or have the expectation that it can move bigger in the overnight hours due to a lack of liquidity, right? If a big trader comes in the middle of the day and buys 1,000 contracts, there's plenty of people out there to offer him that, and he wouldn't move price very far. But if he was to come in the middle of the night and try to get 1,000 contracts, and there's not as much on the dome, then he's going to really rock price in one direction or another until he gets his order filled, right? And that's why we talk about how much easier it is for price to make big moves in the overnight hours. It's just liquidity. So the news may not even be as drastic or extreme as this makes it feel like it could be. And it's just very likely we're going to come inside the box again. We will need to resolve the 20 and the 50. That would put us back in the box, though. And from the open, of course, we can reclaim yesterday's levels. You're looking at a 2% move to the upside. I find it hard to believe that we would go there today. Even with good news on the economic data, we still have Fed tomorrow, right? And that hasn't gone away. The expectation was that we were going to bounce from high to low through Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Well, Monday has given us our high, and Tuesday has given us our low. So it's very likely we're just going to do that between now and Wednesday afternoon when the Fed comes out. I don't think we're going to be at the top of the box by the end of the day, because that would kind of mess up the whole feng shui, right? Don't want to screw up the jam that they worked so hard for. So likely just get back in the box. If things get negative, there's nothing here to catch them, to catch it, other than this trash back here. And it's not clear and defined. There's no set spot that I would point to and say, yeah, that's a solid pivot point. I don't think it's going to get that nasty, but 5,900, 5,800, and 16 the roundy. So that gives us our downside and upside targets. It's going to be a news day. I highly recommend keeping track of what's going on, looking for anything out of the House and the Senate and the economic data as it comes through. So one of the greatest resources for that news is Twitter. I hate Twitter. I don't want my phone blowing up all day long. I don't want to have to use my computer and go to Twitter. So I built this Twitter package. I use the top names in the list just right there at Live Squawk. It's got Finance Juice, Bloomberg, and Live Squawk. Any economic news comes out, this is my go-to. Now, it gets a little chatty when, say, there's somebody speaking somewhere, say like a central banker is holding a press conference. This thing tries to report everything that they consider significant. So if the person says something significant and then 2 minutes later says something else that they think is significant, it's tweet after tweet after tweet after tweet until it finally is done with the conference. So it can get a little annoying, right, on that aspect. But when I get up in the morning, this is my go-to, right? Because I can see what happened overnight, what's going on in Germany, Asia, all around the world. During our trading day, when economic news comes out, this is where I see the results of it. The share link for this is in the Bullish Bears. So we go down to Traders Resources, Custom Scripts. There's the share link to the Thinkorswim workbook and the Twitter package. Now you notice the dollar took a significant tumble last night. It fell with our market. It did not move our market. And yet, it was at the same time that the VIX futures were spiking. So, there are times where we look at the dollar as a global risk measurement, just like how us in the US would look at the VIX. Well, the dollar can be that for the rest of the world, can be. And we always want to know, is the dollar moving right now with an indication that it's a global risk tool? And the answer right now is no, it's not. It's something else. I don't know why the dollar dumped when we dumped. I haven't gone through all of the news yet, but the dollar didn't cause this. And the bonds didn't cause it either, because they're still steady. definitely be keeping your eye on this, on the dollar through the day today, to see if it's going to continue to respond with us or not. All right, so you can see utilities, building materials, jets, everything's mostly down or slightly positive, right? Slightly positive doesn't really get us very far. There was a lot of talk last night about airlines, casinos, um, cruise lines getting whacked because of the whole scared of the COVID reaction again. And I think I heard something about the MGM being sold. That'd be interesting. Now, my crypto list that I use in here, it's not exactly crypto. It's more blockchain related. But the interesting thing is, when I was going through, kind of asking what names make up the futures crypto that we can trade on Tastyworks. So for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, there's new futures products out there, and I say new; they've been around for a little bit, right? And one of those new indexes that you can trade is crypto index, which is kind of nice, right? That way you don't have to worry about, which crypto do you want to get into, and you can short those suckers, which is really handy right now. Right now, right when Bitcoin is making those moves to the downside. But as with anything else, this is a basket of something. And of course, I was curious what makes up the basket. This is cryptocurrency. And it's just a very simple question. What is this thing made out of? Because one, if Bitcoin goes down, that whatever's in this that is weighted would be expected to go down. And I was surprised at some of the names that I found. AMD, PayPal, TSM. Those are not the names that come to mind when I think crypto, blockchain. So, think about these names and more. Nvidia's in there, right? Nvidia is one of the FANG names, is a big one. That dumps, the market dumps. So crypto's down, or blockchain is down, the blockchain names. And we do have a couple of really positive ones, but they're more of these I don't want to call them smaller companies, smaller cap, I guess, mid-size, small cap. So a day like this, you're not going to have the opportunity to lean into the sectors using the XLs, right? XLI, XLY. That's not going to work for you today. You're going to have to be stock pickers, really lean into your scanners, use your watch lists. The indexes and the sectors are not going to benefit you. They're mainly just going to be a drag, sideways action, maybe down, not a whole lot of real trade opportunities in that. But if you focus, there are a lot of good names that are up this morning. There are a lot of good names with really great setups. So use your scanners and your watch lists. Stay away from the sectors and the ETFs. You'll have a better opportunity on the day. Keep in mind, of course, that tomorrow is the Fed day. So, try not to swing anything of size. It's almost like trying to swing into an earnings event. We absolutely have no idea how the market's going to respond tomorrow. And so any trade that you take as a short duration swing is a 50-50 shot that it works, right? Because you got to get through Wednesday afternoon. That's what I got, guys. Have a good one. See you all tomorrow.